Hello, I'm Mark Treichel, and you are listening to my new podcast called With Flying Colors. This is episode 1, titled Credit Union Exam Solutions by Mark Treichel. Generally speaking, on With Flying Colors, I will interview subject matter experts and we will provide credit unions with tips on how you can achieve success with NCUA and thus pass your examination with flying colors. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about my career at NCUA and what I've been doing as a consultant for the last year and how that has led to this podcast. So I started at NCUA in 1986. I was at NCUA for nearly 34 years. I started at the bottom as an examiner in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I moved all over the country to pursue new challenges with NCUA. We relocated to Dallas, Texas, Concord, California, Albany, New York, and Washington, D.C. I served in many positions, including problem case officer, supervisory examiner, director of special actions, director of insurance, director of risk management, associate regional director of operations in Albany. And then in 2000, I went to the central office and served as the deputy executive director for 3 years, followed that with a 10-year stint as the regional director in Albany, New York. During that time in Albany, I also worked on the corporate credit union crisis. In 2012, the NCUA board asked me to serve as the executive director of the agency, which I did for nearly 8 years. During that time, I either held every position that you deal with during your examination, or I supervised every position that you deal with. And thus, I've got a good background from an examination perspective. And I also have contacts at NCUA and former NCUA experts that work for me and assist me with my consulting business and, of course, assist my clients. But I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. When I retired from NCUA, I always thought I would do a little bit of consulting. And I learned something from my dad, who worked at Northwestern Bell and AT&T for nearly 34 years. He never did consult. Early on, after his retirement, he got called quite a bit, but over time, the calls stopped coming. And later in life, he told me that the calls stopped in total 2 years after he retired. So I knew that I needed to only take a little bit of time off. I had people telling me maybe take 6 months, maybe take a year. I realized that I needed to get back in the game sooner, so I only took 2 months off. Of course, I retired during the pandemic, and along with everyone else, I was stuck at home. I did a lot of yard work at the time to keep busy. And at the same time, I embraced the world of podcasts. The podcast I listened to first was one called Consulting Success, which helped me build the foundation of my business. So I quickly picked up clients, and I've since learned, as somebody said, I can be as busy as I want to be, and I do want to be busy. So I've expanded my offerings and what I do for credit unions. Along the way during my NCUA journey, I moved all over the country, which exposed me to many different credit unions and many different NCUA staff members. I met the best and brightest of NCUA, and in many instances, I supervised them. They helped me run the agency, and many of those folks have since retired from NCUA, but they've got great skill sets. As they retire, I approach the best and brightest of former NCUA staff and ask if they'd like to assist me with all things related to credit unions that I do in my consulting business. 3 former NCUA staff helped me with my clients during 2021. This year in 2022, I have already added 2 additional retired subject matter experts, and another will join soon, bringing my team total size to 7 highly skilled former NCUA staff with over 200 years of time at NCUA. All of these folks assist me when I help credit unions. So what have I done in my time period since leaving NCUA as a consultant? Well, I recently put a list together of all the services that I've provided my credit union clients. Today, I'm just going to highlight a few of these. The chart that I've put together shows more than 30 different ways that I've helped credit unions in this first year. So I've had a lot of credit union clients come to me for an examination review, whether that's a review of an examination that just happened, an examination that's in process, or an examination that's just down the road within the next coming months. Camel ratings are things that credit unions are also very interested in. I've had a lot of discussions with credit unions and assisted them in achieving the best possible camel ratings. I have credit unions that hire me for retainers that are ongoing, some retainers that wrap around an examination so that my team and I can be available to assist credit unions during the examination. I have credit unions that have annual retainers so that my team and I are just a phone call away and a form of an insurance policy to make sure that the NCUA relationship goes as best as it possibly can. I've been hired to talk to NCUA to help credit unions get approval on a number of different projects. And I've worked on a lot of secondary capital applications with another organization that does a lot of work in secondary capital. I've attended joint conferences as a consultant for the credit union, by the way, with NCUA and state approval, for me to sit in as a guest and as a consultant of the credit union to help the credit union understand and interpret what NCUA may be asking for. So I could go on with another list of about 20 or 30 things that we did this year, but the list above are the most common form of assistance provided in year one. When I was at NCUA, it was a lot of fun working with credit unions where there was an issue that both sides wanted to resolve that could be resolved so that the credit union could go on and prosper. And over time, NCUA could come in less frequently due to the improved safety and soundness of the credit union. On the topic of examinations, many examinations go well from both sides from start to finish. Some examinations can hit a rocky road, and that can be for many reasons. It could be a misunderstanding on one side or the other. It could be miscommunication or less than stellar communication. It can be the use of the wrong word from one side or the other, or it could simply be somebody choosing words they think are clear from the NCUA side and a credit union hearing different words and interpreting them different. A lot of what my team and I do is serve as an NCUA interpreter, if you will. I have clients who call me just that, their NCUA interpreter. When NCUA says a certain word as a regulator, it means something clearly to them, and it might mean something slightly different in the English language, and it might mean something else to a credit union CEO that's hearing it for the first time. So the CEO might take something to mean X when NCUA really means Y. We can help you understand what NCUA is really saying, which will help you make decisions relative to your examination report. So those are different kind of things that we've assisted on. And I must say, it's been an absolute blast. And as I was going through 2021 accomplishments, deciding what else I might be able to do to assist credit unions, I decided that since I listened to a lot of podcasts, that one way for me to give back to credit unions would be to start a podcast to help credit unions work optimally with NCUA. So I mentioned that I have many former NCUA staff that assist me when I'm working with credit unions. Well, I'm going to interview them here, and we've got a great list of topics coming up. Episodes will include NCUA's examination priorities letter, which just came out, several episodes on commercial lending, net economic value, NCUA's new capital requirements, Bank Secrecy Act, appeals to NCUA up to the regional director level, and the true cost of an NCUA examination. I will also interview other consultants that are subject matter experts that help credit unions succeed and operate in a safe and sound manner. So that's it in a nutshell. I have a lot of great weekly episodes coming soon. I hope that you'll be back for episode 2, which will be on NCUA's just released examination priority letter. I'm Mark Treichel, and you are listening to With Flying Colors. Thank you for your time.